Still waiting on Twitch, but I think YouTube said it's online. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds before I begin. Don't forget checking Twitch. Not seeing anything from that. What's happening over there? I don't get it. It looks like YouTube is working just fine, but I can't seem to get Twitch working. Hang on, guys. This will take a second. I have to investigate this before I begin. Okay, and then what does this look like? YouTube says we're live. We've been live for 2 minutes. Twitch, what do you got for me? What's going on? No, pause that. Oh, now Twitch says I'm online. Okay. Goodness gracious. Come on. These numbers are totally not right. You know that. Page here. Something else on. But at least they both say I'm online, so I should be good. Alright, last check before I just start going. There we go, that looks a lot more accurate. What is up on the Evox, guys? This is TopHat Productions 115 coming at you with yet another video. The first video in I believe over a month. I haven't even been really keeping track at this point because a whole lot's just happened. I know that I say that a lot, but this time there's definitely there are some major updates, and I'm gonna try to go over it in a succinct manner here. I'm gonna try to keep the video below 30 minutes, but if I don't, my apologies. It's just because there's a lot to go over. So this is gonna jump all the way back to April. Actually, back in April, I applied for like a crap ton of jobs, and the one that came through was a well, it's a contractor job. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. It's a contractor job. I work part-time for at least 3 days a week. and I'm currently applying for a full-time conversion. So I applied for it back in April, got the job finally, like in I think June, like in the May-June transition or something like that. And I've been working there like since June through July and now even to August. And it's 3 days a week, part-time. But there are external, well not external, there are extracurricular training materials and stuff like that that they'll send to us every so often. And in addition to the extracurricular training, oh no, hold up, what just happened to the stream? For some reason my view of the stream just went dark, which always has me a little bit concerned. Let me check YouTube and Twitch real fast. YouTube says it's still good. Twitch, what you got? Twitch says it's still good. Okay, I'm going to get back on top here. But long story short is between work and training materials for work and adjusting to the new environment and making sure that I'm doing everything properly, it's been pretty hectic. I've been getting used to doing their timesheets and stuff like that, and they have like multiple different websites and services that they use for everything that they do. I'm not going to go into detail about what they have or how they do things because I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about it. But what I am going to say is that they have a lot of stuff behind the scenes I have to pick up, and as a result, I haven't really been talking with you guys much lately in terms of what I do. And I know that in the scheme of things, it's not a good idea to let a YouTube channel sit pretty much unused, just not updated for a while. But I had a lot of things to catch up on in order to make sure that I was actually able to perform my duty on that job. And so far, I think it's been working out pretty well. I'm currently supposed to be, I think, on like a 5-year contract of some sort. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That just means I might have a job for the next 5 years, which is awesome. Because I'm definitely not making money on YouTube or Twitch right now. But speaking of cash flows, there have been some major updates to multiple projects that I have going on behind the scenes. And all those projects required cash flows, which was why this new job, albeit as hectic as it's made things recently, has been just all so important and just been such a major boon for me, because now I can move on, I can move forward with certain things I wasn't able to do at all or just wasn't able to work with as quickly. For example, the new server project that I kept mentioning months ago is now just about ready to begin. I've bought all the hardware and everything, and at this point, all I have to do now is start installing ESXi tonight. And on top of that, I also managed to get a new laptop recently because my old one, well, up and died on me, I think, in the middle of May. But yeah, I did all these status updates about this stuff. So if you want links to anything that I have posted about it, I'll have that stuff put in the description for both Twitch and YouTube if possible at the end of this live stream. But long story short, just May and April was the start of all sorts of things, because that's, in fact, I think, yeah, if I remember correctly, back in like April and May, that's when I ended up. That's when my last job ended, because it was on a set time frame where it was supposed to end in like April, and then from there, like during that last month when I was working between April and May was when I was doing that intense job search, and when I found the current contractor job that I have now, and it's just been jumping around from there. And I'm all the while trying to pay off college loans, still working on that. But it's been an interesting time. I'm currently set up to possibly be able to pay off my loans finally within like the next couple of years. This is great, and as a result, I should be able to focus more so on the things I want to do instead of having to divert my attention. Well, not divert, having to focus my attention on things that are strictly of necessities and not having any free time. I now will be able to possibly do things like YouTube and Twitch a little bit more, be able to have fun with you guys, communicating with and playing games for you guys, and trying to put out content that's actually fun and enjoyable. Aside from that, I'm just going to go and start jumping into the details here. Yes, I am currently running a Minecraft server for Mage Bending. But in order to even get into that server, you have to get permission. You have to be part of the mage bending community. I'm not really going to go into details about that right now. But let me see. Where are my... I'm trying to avoid going off into too many tangents right now, as you can see. So sorry if I seem a little bit disjointed. Yeah, there we go. Here, and then there should be a link somewhere else. I might not be able to find it in time. I'll start here. So the first major project I'm going to talk about is Project Personal Data Center. You guys have already seen content for most of this before, so if you want to pause the video whenever you like to get an idea of what hardware we're using, we've changed things over time. I'll scroll through it nice and slow. Major changes include removing one of the GPUs from the project for energy concerns primarily. And if I remember correctly, there was one other change. Yes, I changed out the drive cage because the one that I originally bought, I think, yeah, it requires Molex, and I didn't really want to have to deal with that, so I went and bought a slightly better drive cage that didn't require Molex. So those are the two major changes I can think of. Aside from that, I went on and also got a new mouse just for this project, so I wouldn't be using a wireless mouse. I've been having issues where I have well, I don't know what happens, but the mouse randomly stops working. Like the cursor will no longer move when I move the mouse. I'm thinking that part of it might be due to wireless interference, just due to the number of wireless devices I have in the room already, and also due to the fact that I have to constantly change the batteries on that mouse. It just became a pain to have that wireless mouse around, so I went on and got a wired mouse instead. And the one that I have listed here is a Dell mouse, the MS819. And one thing that's really nice about it is that it works really well with Windows Hello and also allows for fingerprint. It has a fingerprint reader, so I can use that to log in along with my PIN, my password, and other authentication methods I've already set up. So it's convenience on all fronts. Most people don't like wired mice, but I prefer a wired mouse now, just because of the fact that firstly, this mouse won't be going out the house anyway, so I don't really have to worry about travel concerns and stuff like that, or a cable being unwieldy. And secondly, that means I don't have to pay for batteries, which I hate doing, in addition to dealing with wireless interference and having my wireless mouse just not work, to stop working while I'm in the middle of the game or stuff like that. And I've never figured out why it stopped working. Like, the thing is, I made sure it had a new battery in it too when it would happen sometimes, so it's not battery power, it's either wireless interference or something else. And I really didn't feel like opening up the mouse to try and figure it out, because it was a commodity device that probably wasn't really going to last much longer anyway, so I went on and ejected that from my setup for ease of use and convenience. I now have a wired mouse, and my life is just a tad bit easier to work with because of it. Just kind of trying to polish things up. That's been pretty much the that's been one of the main focuses of these last few months. In addition to settling into my new job, just trying to polish things off and trying to get rid of any petty annoyances and I guess unnecessities I don't need to have around that just waste time on my part. So with that, I think we're really done with talking about Project Personal Data Center, aside from the fact that it's pretty much ready to begin. And hopefully I'll be able to switch out this old workstation that I'm using to live stream this video right now with the server in maybe a few weeks. Now we're going to move on to the next piece. That is, if I can find, yeah, there we go. There's the link for it. Yeah. In addition to the changes I've made to Project Personal Data Center, I've also made changes to my overall setup by trying to add in more cellular enabled devices, such as instead of me just going out with my current Asus Nexus 7 2013 and not being able to actually, I guess, do much on the go, since there isn't going to be Wi-Fi everywhere that I go, I've decided to go in and get the LTE version of my tablet, so that I can kind of stay connected while I'm out and about instead of just using my smartphone, which, mind you, there's a lot of details here, but I'll go over it in a dedicated video. I've listed the reasoning for it here, but long story short, I've decided to bring in more cellular devices so I can stay connected a little bit more often. And I think there's one other change. Yeah, I've already scheduled a few upgrades for a Project New client. That's a laptop thing, so that really doesn't apply to you guys. But if you are interested, there are links to all of this here. Aside from that, I also have one more small project, a new one called Project Low Power. Now this one is going to be of more interest. This has to do with that LTE tablet that I mentioned earlier. I'm currently moving on from an old version of Android all the way up to Android 10 right now, and I'm just trying to experiment with Lineage OS. I've made postings about this on Reddit, and if you guys are interested, I'm currently trying to log the entire effort from beginning to end, and have been taking pictures along the way so that you guys can kind of see what I'm using and kind of how I'm setting things up. As of now, yeah, I think my current smartphone is running like Android 8. So the Asus Nexus 7 will now be running a newer version of Android OS than my current smartphone, which is going to be kind of interesting because I've never actually had that situation. In many past instances, what would happen is my smartphone would be running a way newer version of Android than my tablet. But now, seeing that I'm running a much newer ROM, which may actually be receiving updates, I should be able to I will be able to play around with some newer features of Android that I didn't have access to before. And if you'd like me to, I guess, make a few videos about this, then feel free to leave a comment, and I will see if I can actually make videos in the future pertaining to this. Yeah, that Twitch page took a long time to load. Okay. So now that I've mentioned all of that, let me see how much time I've used so far. I've used only 18 minutes. Well, that's perfect. Let me go ahead and make sure that no one on Discord is contacting me. Okay, so no one's contacted me via any social media, which means I could probably end the stream right now, but let me check Twitch one more time. Make sure that I'm not leaving anyone kind of out to dry. Yeah, no one's left in the chat in Twitch or in YouTube yet, so I think it might be a safe time to possibly go and end the video. But aside from that, oh wait, there actually is one more topic that I'm going to go over really quickly. I apologize for not putting up any gaming videos recently, but between work, chores, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm paying off my student loans and stuff like that, trying to coordinate all these financial and social economic factors over the past few months and getting used to my new job, it's been hectic, as you already know, and I haven't really had much time to do any gaming. Especially when I'm trying to also keep you guys updated on my latest projects, which don't really incorporate gaming or any sort of conveniences until the very end after they're finished being set up. So gaming will happen in the future, just not right this second. There may be some gaming videos in between now and when the server's finished being set up, but there won't be many just because I'll be focusing most of my efforts on the project so I can bring you better content. One of the major draws, or not draws, one of the major perks of having the server is it has more raw physical CPU cores, even though they're running on the same Westmere architecture that my current workstation is using. But since it has more physical CPU cores, I'll be using those to run VMs, specifically high-performance VMs with GPU acceleration, which can be used for multimedia tasks such as encoding, transcoding, and also live streaming and stuff like that. And yeah, that's really just about it. The server is kind of where the future is going to be, hopefully. And once the server comes back up, I'll be back to a much more rigid, a much more predictable schedule. Seeing that I'm trying to change platforms and infrastructure right now, it's going to be a little bit hectic here and there, and just my upload schedule in general is just going to be not as consistent as you guys are used to. And it wasn't really ever consistent to begin with, just due to life factors. But now things are starting to become crunch time. Without further ado, since I see no people asking questions right now, I'll go on and end the video. In a few minutes, I'll add the links I mentioned into the description, and maybe I'll do a separate Q&A video later today or maybe tomorrow. Anyway, guys, it has been cool, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace out, and this is TopHat Productions 115 signing out. Maybe tech news next week.